This is a full unboxing and complete review of this rolling sharpener. Let's see. It's got the little pad. There's that little bottom piece. It's got all the different angles. Some extra padding. Rolling piece. Box. Let's see. Toss this to the side. Now, before we get to that, let's see if any of these knives actually will fit. Let's see. That one barely makes it, but the blade don't work quite right with the magnets. Maybe adjust it to where I can get it to work halfway right, but it still don't want to line up quite right. Let's say even a thick one like that don't quite work. So it's still gonna need the regular sharpener. Let's see. Of course, that one's too small to work, even though it's a good one. Let's see this one here. That one could possibly work. We'll leave that one over here. That one's still going to be too small, so it's going to go over here. Yeah, that one will try. Too small. Let's see. We're going to try this one. I think that one might actually be a bit too big. Yep. So, seems to be the common denominator. It's only going to work with certain size knives. That will definitely work with, so I'll go over here. Oh yes, that one definitely is still going to do good. Let's see if my custom knife will work. It's a possibility, so we're going to try it. Yeah, that one's definitely still too small. This one, definitely too small. Might be able to get it to work with that one. Yeah, that one, we might be able to get it to work with that one. And then that one, I think it'll work with that one. And the little toothpick knife, it definitely ain't gonna work with. So it'll go back over here to the side too. Seems all these over here are either too small or too big, and they just won't work with it. So let's test it out with all these over here. Let's go with it's got the different degrees, so the knives that it will work with can be usable. Let's go with a 17. We'll go with a 22. One side of it is 1,000. One side of it is 400. Alright, we're going to try the 400 side. If you can see that, that's how it looks. Looks like it could use some better grit. Let's see how this does. Now we just flip it the other way. Magnet seemed to hold on there pretty good. It ain't seeming to want to get down to that edge. Let's see if we can adjust it. Alright, now that we've used the 400, let's swap it over to the 1000. Gave it a decent edge. Still having issues with the tip. I think we can still get it to it. Alright, let's see how it does. Let's give it the old cutting test. See if it's smooth. And it is sharp. It does make it sharp. Yeah, I'd say it makes them sharp, the ones it can use. Since it sharpened this one and this one passed the test, let's set it up here and eat some apples for a second. For the next knife, we're going to go with, say, this pocket knife here. Let's put a 17 on it. The magnet don't seem to want to do very well though. I guess with the edge and the looks of it, this one just ain't going to work for it. So we'll set this one over here. Let's go with the little cheap paring knife. I get these at the store all the time. There's a couple bucks, but they're excellent for fishing. Let's see if it'll work. Doesn't quite want to hold on because of the location of the magnets. Alright, let's try this side. Well, it readjusted again. Seems like this one's going to have to fight with it to get it to work. Alright. Let's see, now we'll swap to the 1000. Alright. This one is definitely giving it some fits. Alright. Looks like it's wearing a lot of that grit off of there pretty fast. Let's see how much longer it lasts. Now, let's do a cut test on it. It did make it sharp. Not bad. Had to fight with it for a second, but it still made it sharp. This one passed the test. Let's set it up here. Give the animals some apples. The standard kitchen knife. This. All right. Let's see. Let's see if it's sharper than it was. We'll even use a fresh apple on it. It does cut. When past the cut test, we'll put it up here. Let's try the custom made knife. Let's see if it'll work out. I believe this one needs a 15 degree. It definitely needs sharpened. Been a little while since I've sharpened this one. Let's start with a 400 on it. It's almost not tall enough for the peak at the end. It works for the rest of it though. Alright. Now let's see how it sets on the other side of it. Still not bad. Let's see. Let's see, did it get a little bit sharper? It did. It did. Alright. So we'll go to the 1000 side now. Still having a little issue right there at the tip on the end. Alright. Swap it over. We've still got some of the grit left. Let's give her a test. All right. It went from dull to razor sharp. So I'd say that did very good. It does help that the knife was a custom-made, homemade knife. Let's see if we can get that signature in there. There we go. Let's put it over here on the passing side because it did good on that. Let's try out. We'll leave that one for last. Let's see if this one will work. Yeah, that one's going to be too small. Let's see about this one. Yeah, from using that on the others with the tips, that one ain't gonna work for this one, especially with it having too much wobble there. So this one goes over here on the fail side, and then of course your standard stainless steel kitchen knife. Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely dull. Could use a sharpening for sure. Alright, let's swap it over to the 1000. That alone improved it. Swap it to the 1000 and make it sharp. It's definitely filing some, so it's doing its job. Alright, let's see where it's at. Yeah, that has improved it quite a bit. Let's see. Let's see how it does on the cut test. It definitely made it sharp. let's give y'all an honest review. All of these nabs was able to fit on the angles and be sharpened to where they're razor sharp. On the other hand, all of these knives were not even able to fit on there to be sharpened. They will still have to be sharpened, with the old school wet rock, which always works the best for any knife. Upon review, this was posted for like 10 or 15 bucks when I bought it, and I'd say it would probably only be worth about 10 bucks because it works for certain circumstances, but like it'll work for these, but it won't work for these. So certain circumstances it will work for and use to be able to have a good razor sharp knife without having a lot of knife sharpening skill. But for most of these knives, you're still going to need a regular wet rock and skills to be able to know how to sharpen them. So I would only recommend this product for someone who's gonna like sharpen some kitchen knives or something like that. But for the avid hunter that is going to use a sharpener to sharpen a pocket knife or something, I would not recommend it for that.